Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing some Christmas catalogs. I was going to do one Christmas catalog at a time by year, but I have so many of them and there's so many different types of items in all the catalogs it would take forever, and people might not want to may not want to watch through hours of video to find the one thing they're interested in. So I thought I'd start out with some of the more popular lines like Masters of the Universe and Star Wars, and do some videos like that. Maybe break it down into maybe like TV show toys like Dukes of Hazzard and Buck Rogers, and do like a video just based on that kind of stuff. So um, depending on how much content there is for each franchise. So what I'm going to start out with is Masters of the Universe, and I got these catalogs here. They're all 1982 to 1986, and we're going to look and see what kind of Masters of the Universe content are in these. So we'll start out with the 1982 JCPenney's Christmas catalog. And on page 517, we have Castle Grayskull. They only have one or two pictures on the whole, out of the whole catalog, 1982. So it was a new line at that point. So as you can see there, we got Castle Grayskull. We got about 8 different figures: Battle Cat, Battle Ram, and Wind Raider. And that's pretty much all they had in that catalog. And you got Castle Grayskull, you got He-Man, Tila, Zoar, not Zoar, Zodak, Man-at-Arms. You got Stratos, Beastman, Skeletor, and Merman. That's all that was in that catalog. And that was the 1982 JCPenney's Christmas catalog. Next, we have the 1982 Montgomery Ward Christmas catalog. And Montgomery Ward was really good about putting pop culture stuff on their covers, not just Christmas decorations and kids kissing and stuff. Oh, look, they take credit cards. That's good. Anyway, so let's see. There's only like one page in this one, I think, that has anything on Masters of the Universe. And I made myself a little cheat sheet over here on page 510. So in this one, they only have one picture in the whole catalog. Not one page, one picture. And it is of Castle Grayskull. They have a He-Man Battle Cat set, the Battle Ram. They got Stratos and Man-at-Arms, and they have Beastman and Merman. Just back then, on this one, the Castle Grayskull was $27.88. That's not bad. All right. Oh, look, an Atari 2600. Nice. Okay, and then next we got the 1983 Sears Wishbook. And a lot of people forget about these catalogs is they were good for like the whole year. It wasn't just a Christmas catalog. It would come around like in the fall sometime. And I remember how excited I would be when they came. I would look at this thing all year long. And sometimes a family member would throw it out or something thinking, oh, that's old. But they were good through like August of the next year. So I remember sometimes I would get Christmas money or something, and I would want something out of the catalog. I'd get my mom to order it for me, or I would say, hey, for my allowance this time, I want to get this out of this catalog, and get her to order it for me. So we ordered a lot of stuff from the catalogs back then. Catalogs was a big thing in the 80s. I miss them. The internet's just not the same. And then here we have, again, like maybe like 2 pictures. And that's it. You got the Castle Grayskull and Point Dread with the Talon Fighter. And they had a 2-pack with Skeletor and Ram Man, and a 2-pack with He-Man and Trapjaw, and the Attack Track. And they had this little cosplay kit for kids who want to play like Skeletor, I guess. Came with little plastic weapons and stuff. And I thought it was interesting that he has like horns on the, like ram horns on the side of his head, because he don't have a hood on that set, so they had to be creative, I guess. All right. Then next catalog will be the JCPenney's Christmas 1983 catalog. And again, they were good through August of that year. Well, certain pages were available. Other prices would still be in effect through January, so the prices might have changed, but it's just a little interesting detail, I thought. All right, so there's 2 pages that's got some stuff in this one. It's G.I. Joe. Here we go. Now this one I thought was interesting because they actually put the Black Star and the Masters of the Universe stuff in the same shot, and they were to about the same scale, so the Black Star stuff could actually be pretty good He-Man diorama pieces or display pieces. I never had any of the Black Star stuff, but I always thought they were pretty cool looking, especially at Castle. This year they didn't have the Castle Grayskull in it. I thought that was interesting. But they did have the Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. And then they had the Attack Track. And they got one more picture down here. It's got 3 sets of figures, 2 packs. They had He-Man and Trapjaw, Faker and Manny Faces, and Skeletor and Ram Man. But really there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in the whole catalog that year for Masters of the Universe. So it was still a growing line at that time. And there's one other page that's got something over here. And I thought this was very interesting. I did not even know about these. This is a Masters of the Universe, what do they call it? Detailed sculptured cast metal figures with plastic mountain base. But I didn't know about those. I thought that was very interesting. If anybody had any of those, I'd like to know. Leave it in the comments, because that's something I never even realized existed until I saw this in the catalog. But they're supposed to be cast metal figures, and they're I think they're supposed to be sort of like the Dungeons and Dragons little figures. So maybe they were going to try to spin Masters of the Universe off into like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of role play type thing, but it never took off or something. Oh, and they also had the model kits here. That's the Attack Track and the Talon Fighter. If you notice there, they're not painted. And if you notice, the Attack Track has like a hood, and the Talon Fighter's guns are different. They're like out more, and this is a gun instead of a little satellite dish. And it's a different color scheme. I guess you could paint it how you wanted it. But anyway, those are something you don't really see every day. It's not real well known. So I thought those were really interesting. That's why I love looking at these old catalogs. You find stuff you didn't know about. And that was in the JCPenney's Christmas 1983 catalog. Then we got the Christmas Montgomery Ward catalog for 1983. Again, more pop culture stuff. I really like the way they did that too, because it really just sort of shows all the stuff that was, kind of sums that whole year up. You got Garfield, Care Bears, Smurfs, Cabbage Patch Kids, Shirt Tails, Cubert, which Atari 2600 was big back then, Strawberry Shortcake, Ewoks, that represents the Star Wars of the time, so Smurfs, of course. So I really like how they picture that sort of is iconic for that year. Okay, and this one has like 2 whole pages now. This is, again, it's the same year, but it's the line's starting to grow a little bit. And in this one, they have the cosplay Skeletor, and you can see a little bit better detail on that one. It's got the little ram horns, especially over here. And I thought this was supposed to be some kind of like funky mohawk thing, but I guess it's a strap that goes over the top of the head. But they also have a He-Man set, so that makes sense. So you can One could be Skeletor, one could be He-Man, and y'all can battle it out. And they also had like a little playhouse. I remember these. They were almost like a big vinyl tablecloth, those disposable tablecloths you get for birthday parties. I don't think they were much thicker than that, really. And had like some kind of frame and a little flap for a door, and that's pretty much all they were. And that was like $20 just for that. And that was almost as much as the real Castle Grayskull. It was $27.97 for Castle Grayskull, and it was for that little playhouse. It was $16.99. Okay, I thought it was 20, so that's a little less than I thought, but still, that was kind of high for that time, for no more than it was. But I think that would have been really fun to play in, though. If I was that size of a kid at that time, I was a little bigger. Let's see, it says ages 3 to 10, but 10's kind of big for that. I would say more like 3 to 7 or 8. I was getting a little big for that, but I was into all the figures and stuff. In this one, we also have Screech and Panther, which is the first time we've seen that in the catalog so far. So it's got the attack track, Screech, Point Dread with the Talon Fighter, Castle Grayskull, and the Point Dread could go on top of Castle Grayskull as an extension, so that was pretty cool. Then you got the this is a set. It's Panther and Skeletor. That was a set, and then you had the Trapjaw and Screech came as a set, and then He-Man and Triclops, which Triclops hadn't been in the catalog before then either, I don't think. And you got a little handheld electronic Masters of the Universe game. I didn't really realize that existed, I don't think. If you ever had one of those, leave a comment. I'd like to know if it was any good. Then you had stuff that was pretty standard for any of the franchises. You had pajamas, sweatshirts with iron-on transfers. That was big back then. They just iron those on, whatever, and sell them. But you had little pajamas that was onesies that had the footsies and all that. And you had the sleeping bag. I think every franchise had a sleeping bag, and you could unzip it and turn it into a comforter. And they all just about had a talking alarm clock that would wake you up. And those actually had a little record in them, kind of like those pull string dolls. And those would actually get off track sometimes, where the little rubber band inside would break or deteriorate and it wouldn't work. So it's hard to try to fix those because they would sound like chipmunks, and you getting the tension right and the right size rubber band is kind of tricky. So, but I think I had a Star Wars one, and I tried to fix it, and I never could get it sounding right after that. I never could find the right size band, but they all pretty much had that same technology. And instead of a pull string, it had a battery that would make the motor go when it went off. But I think it used a C battery, 2 C batteries. And they had a gumball bank. It had gumballs in it. Whenever you put some money in it, I guess it'd spit out a gumball. So, all right, now we're up to, let's see, that was the 1983 Montgomery Ward. So we're up to the 1984 Sears catalog. They're starting to get with it, with putting some things on their catalog. It's more targeted towards kids, not just little Christmas themes. So. This one, I think there's only one page again for Masters of the Universe. Superpowers. We'll definitely do a video on the superpowers and Secret Wars. And one for TV show figures. Let's see, I'm going the wrong direction. It's the next way. Oh, I love those robots from the 80s. They're so cheesy looking. They were so cool at the time, though. I always wanted one. Okay, so we got Masters of the Universe right next to Star Wars, so it's moving up in rank. I love these old Star Wars toys and stuff. I actually found one of these Star Wars Ewok toy totes not long ago. It was $20 originally. I actually ended up selling it, but it was in good condition. Page for G.I. Joe. Some more Star Wars. So Star Wars kind of overflowed. Well, it didn't really overflow. They got on another page, but it's in the same opening. So we have, again, we got Castle Grayskull. But now we have the battle armor, Skeletor and He-Man. And we got Orko. We got Cobra Khan, Buzz Off, Web Store, and Mechanic. And all this stuff is pretty much new stuff. We got Snake Mountain, we got the Roton, we got Dragon Walker, Stridor, and the Road Ripper. So we have a lot of all new stuff basically and Sears was a little bit ahead of the other ones, I think. Well, that's 84, so that was a whole new year, so I'll take that back. Again, you got Black Star in the same section. That kind of makes sense to put those together. I think they're the same scale about. And speaking of Cobra Con, I just opened up the new exclusive Camo Con from Mattel Exclusives, or Mattel Creations. It's an exclusive. And turns out Cobra Con is Camo Con. He became Camo Con. I didn't know that. It had his backstory on the card. So if you get a chance, check out that video. It's pretty cool. And so that was the 1984 Sears Wishbook. And we'll do the 1984 J.C. Penney's next. The kid giving the girl a gift out of his radio flyer wagon. Okay, on this one, it actually had He-Man starting to come up in the ranks because it's got several pages now. So it's got a whole opening just for Masters of the Universe now. So that's something that was different from before in previous years. Get some of these out of the way for a second. Okay. So we have, again, Castle Grayskull, the classic. You should always have Castle Grayskull as long as there's a Masters of the Universe line. And then you got the Town Fighter and Point Dread. You got the Battle Ram, Attack Track, Road Ripper, Wind Raider, Dragon Walker. And the bad guys over here, you got Snake Mountain, and Panther and Roton. You got Battle Cat and Stridor down there with the bad guys. I guess they're fighting the bad guys. Let's name all the characters. We got, see, well, we'll look over here. We got Buzz Off and Fisto. Then these were 2-packs. They were $9.99 a set. You got Prince Adam and Orko. You got Manny Faces and Battle Armor He-Man. You got Mechanic and Round Man. I always thought those two were a good set to have. They always seem like they go together as buddies or something. Oh, and you got the carrying case. You got a Web Store and a Battle Armor Skeletor, Clawful, Clawful and Jitsu, Trapjaw and Triclops, and you got Whiplash and Cobra Khan. And of course you got all those worked in over here in your other page with in there set up with the play sets and vehicles. You got your Masters of the Universe toy box. So they're starting to get a little bit more out there other than just the toy line now. Then there's a couple more pages. Okay, on this one, all it is you got you a Masters of the Universe activity set. And I'll go ahead and read that real quick. It combines the best of adventure, fantasy, sorcery, and science fiction. Contents include 16 crayons, 1 magic slate, 2 color activity book, 2 storybooks, 1 sticker and color book, and 1 trace and color book. And you got all that for $9.50. So, and I think there's one other page. Let's see. Yeah, there was a couple, well, 3 Masters of the Universe books, tapes, and records. I guess you could as a tape. Yeah, you could get the book and tape, or you could get the book and record. And it was a set of 3. You got all 3 with the record for $6.99, or you got all 3 cassettes and books for $9.99. All right. Next, we're up to 1984 Montgomery Ward Christmas catalog, and they have made the cover this year. So Masters of the Universe is full-fledged Christmas wish list material now. Also got Get Along Gang, Care Bears, and Ewoks, and Cabbage Patch Kids. And this one actually folded out. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, that's almost like a poster. You got Gizmo and Stripe. Look at that Stripe. That's an ugly looking gremlin. Trying to get the glare off of it. Let's see. Okay. You got a Mr. T. You got a Transformer. I'm not sure what these are. They go with some line, I guess. You got a little pony and Rainbow Bright. Alright. And let's go and see what we got here. It's a very colorful page. Alright. Now, this year's had up toward the front. Usually the toy section would be near the back. And they got a whole spread for the toys. They got Castle Grayskull, Roton, Stridor, Screech, Road Ripper. Pretty much the same ones that were in the other catalog. You got a Dragon Walker and Snake Mountain. Snake Mountain sold for $39.88. You got the Talking Alarm Clock. And you got the, let's see. This is Masters of the Universe color forms. I didn't even realize they had color forms. I had just about every kind of color form there was back then, and I did not know that Masters of the Universe had a set. That's pretty cool. See, every time I look at one of these catalogs, I learn something new. It's very nostalgic, and it's very informative, like as far as analyzing how things have come along over the years and researching old toys and stuff. They got a different carrying case. The other one was red in the other catalog. This one's yellow. And then it's got a little pinball game. It says it uses 4D batteries. I thought this was one of those little cheap ones, but it said $16.99. So if you had one of those, leave a comment. I'd like to know if that was any good. And you had the talking toothbrush. That was a staple for franchises in the 80s. Again, you got the 3 records and books. Or I think they only have the cassettes in this one. They don't have a record option. We got a He-Man watch and a Skeletor watch. Let's see, those sold for about $12.99 each. They were digital watches. Alright, so that was the Montgomery Ward 1984. So now we're up to 1985. We're going to do the JCPenney 1985 Christmas catalog first. And this year's has a bunch of content from Masters of the Universe. Okay, so now we got new stuff again. We got the Bashosaurus and the Battle Bones and Spydor and Landshark. All those are new additions from the prior years. Oh, and you got Night Stalker down here. So they got both versions. They got Stridor and Night Stalker in the same one. Someone did a custom, and they made it look like a Christmas catalog. I'll try to find a picture and put it in this video, but it was pretty cool. They called it Trotbot, and it was like it was kind of like a duplicate with the faker Battle Cat, but it was a faker Stridor, and it was themed with faker, and they called it Trotbot. They made it look like it was in an old Christmas catalog. It actually, messed me up because I was like, I never heard of that. And I was looking it up, and it was like they just done a graphic design to make it look like it was an old catalog. So it was a custom someone had made. Oh, and over here we got the Dragon Blaster Skeletor and the Thunder Punch He-Man. We got new figures. We got Moss Man and Cyclone. You got Stinkor and Spikor. And Mechanic and Roboto. You got Too Bad and Triclops. And Buzz Off and Fisto. And Prince Adam and Orko. Manny Faces with Battle Armor He-Man. And you got Webstore with the Battle Armor Skeletor. Okay, on this page, oh, this was cool, I thought. It's a He-Man tricycle, and it has the shield on the front. I thought that was pretty cool. I never realized that was out there either. Over here we have some He-Man, and that activity set again. It's got all those coloring books and paint by number books, or paint with water books, sticker books, stuff like that. I see at least 3 that I had. I hardly ever colored in my books. And here's a Road Ripper big wheel. I thought that was really cool. I mean, that perfectly fits the theme. It's a Road Ripper. So, see, they call it the Road Ripper Mighty Cycle, but it's kind of like a big wheel. All right, we have a He-Man backpack. And then we have, on this side, we got a He-Man book and record. And then we got 2 of the books and cassettes, or records, whichever one. Oh, She-Ra. Okay. So, She-Ra was starting to come to light by this time. It's 1985. And they decided they were going to start targeting the girls and get them into the He-Man universe. So, we got the Crystal Castle. It only sold for $35.99. And then the Princes of Power figures are about $6.99 each. The horses are $8.99. So Swiftwind's also $8.99. So, and then number 13 is the Enchanta Swan. It's $16.99. That thing's as big as the castle. It's huge. But I am not as familiar with She-Ra stuff, so I'm going to have to read these. Let's see, we got Frosta, number 2. And then Double Trouble's number 3. That's her. And then Bo's on his horse, Arrow. And you got Catra, and she's got a horse named Storm. And you got She-Ra / Adora. And you got Castaspella. I like that name. Then you have Glimmer and Angelia. She looks like an angel. Oh, and you got Cal. He's $6.99 too. He's just a basic, just a non-articulated figure, I think, if I remember right. All right, 2 more and we'll be done. We got the Montgomery Ward 1985 catalog. And right on the cover, you got a Dragon Blaster Skeletor and the Thunder Punch He-Man. And this one looks like it had a fold-out cover, but it was just a little ad. All right, and there's several pages in this one. Maybe these flyer things. All right, now we're getting up to the Fright Zone and Hordak and the Evil Horde, which came out about the same time as She-Ra, so it makes sense. Because I think they were first seen in the Secret of the Sword cartoon also. So you got Spydor, Landshark, Night Stalker, Roton, Snake Mountain, They got Screech and Zoar as a 2-pack. So it was $9.99 for both of them. So that was kind of cool. I didn't know they came as a set ever. And you got Too Bad, Roboto, Spikor, and Cyclone, Stinkor, and Mossman. And you got the Dragon Blaster, Skeletor, and the Thunder Punch He-Man. And up here you got the Road Ripper, Stridor, Dragon Walker, and Bashosaurus. Of course, Castle Grayskull. And then over here we have the Battle Bones and the Fright Zone. Fright Zone sold for $30, $29.99. And you got Modulac, and he was only, or Modulac, how you say it, and he was only $8.99. That's pretty cool. You got Grizzlor and Leech and Hordak and Mantana. And I just got the new Mantana Origins figure, and I'm about to do a opening and review of that. So check that video out, coming soon. And it looks like they sold those as a 4-pack. Yeah, it was $22.99 for all 4 of those. And then they had the red figure case. And then more pages. They have like several pages in this one. This is how popular the Masters of the Universe is by this time. They got a movie, or animated movie. They got a spin-off line, She-Ra. They got a huge toy line. It's just really taken off. So they have that same playhouse. It looks like the same kind of set as they had before. But they also have a new one. It's the Battle Armor He-Man breastplate set. And they have a Hordak set. So that's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind having one of those old Hordak masks. That's pretty neat. And there they are in the packages. That's cool too. Okay. And then you got that pinball machine. And you got a, what's that? That's a voice action belt with talking head belt buckle. Wow. That is different. 6 He-Man messages, wrist medallion included. Oh, so the wrist thing, I don't know what, if that active, I guess, I don't know how that works. If anybody had one of these, I'd like to know more about it. Leave it in the comments. Did you push something on the belt to make him talk, or did that, back then I wouldn't think those connected. That was probably just something extra as a throw-in, but I'm thinking it was probably all a battery in that, and there's probably no radio controlled any communication between the two back then. But let me know. Let's see what else we got. We got the another talking alarm clock, this time with Castle Grayskull. That's pretty cool. I like that one. It was $34.99. And then below that is a picture playlight set. It's kind of like a light bright, but it was He-Man themed. And then below that is a 3D action game. I've never noticed that one before either. If anybody ever played that, let me know if it was any fun. And this is the talking toothbrush, the other talking alarm clock, and the digital watch. And over here we have another playhouse. This one's just kind of like themed like Masters of the Universe. It don't actually look like Castle Grayskull. And let's see, I just call that a tent. And then see, that's a He-Man camera. You can take pictures with it. Okay. You have the He-Man Skeletor walkie-talkies. You had a He-Man radio headset. You had a He-Man Skeletor Masters of the Universe cassette player. And you have that cool tricycle. And it looks like the shield's removable. That's pretty cool. So you can take the shield off and use it. And those bullies come after you because you're playing He-Man. They got He-Man roller skates. Roller skates are always a staple of the 80s. And you got this cool little card table with some artwork. I'll zoom in on that because that's neat. I wonder if anybody's got a picture of what that looks like up close or scanned or something. And it's a foldable with, I don't know if the chairs are foldable, but the table's foldable. Oh, I think it's all connected. No, I guess not. I thought that was, I guess it's 2 chairs and a table. And then you have the Masters of the Universe toy box. That's cool. That was only $36.99. That's pretty cool. Can't get a regular bookcase for that these days. Of course, those were kind of real flimsy, if I remember. They're like particle board. They're not even particle board. They're like a, they just call it hardboard. But kind of like the stuff pegboard's made out of. But they weren't very strong. You couldn't put a lot of books on it. It'd just break. I think a lot of those did end up breaking and chipping and thrown out. It's hard to find anything like that these days because people used them and they got broken and they just threw them out. And you got a little He-Man coat rack, wall rack for hanging caps and stuff on. And on the next page, we got some He-Man apparel. Got the He-Man belt. We got some underoos, looks like. They just call it t-shirt and brief set, but it looks like underoos. I think they actually did have He-Man underoos where it looked like you had his muscles, maybe. I don't remember. But they had a lot of different. I got a He-Man fighting Skeletor sweatshirt and a Skeletor sweatshirt and track suits and robes, onesies, and just underwear and pajamas. So all your basic child apparel. Again, we have the Masters of the Universe 3 record, 3 cassette and book set. And this one, you got the He-Man curtains and bedspread and pillows and blankets and sleeping bag and tote bag. And then they have the same thing for Princess of Power on the other page. So you got your boys' room and your girls' room. That would be really cool if you had a little sister about the same age and she was into that and you were into that and y'all could totally play together and cross your universes over together. That would be so cool. My sister was a little bit older than me, so she never got into Princess of Power, but I could see where that would be a really cool play environment potential. Okay, and then we have a whole spread for Princess of Power. And that's a good looking picture there. It's got a nice, it's even got a little steam. Look at that. I love these old pictures and these catalogs. I used to want to make pictures for catalogs when I was a kid. And then catalogs went away, so oh well. But you got your Crystal Castle. And you got pretty much all the same figures that we mentioned in the other one. Let's see, and the horses and the swan. So it's the same things pretty much. I don't see any different ones. You got Catra, I know her. And Cal and Bo, I know them. I have to learn these other ones. So Cal and Bo came together. And Catra and let's see. Well, it just says Catra, but that one comes with it. And you had Glimmer and Angelia, how do you say her name? And then you got Frosta and Castaspella. I like that name. That's cool. Castaspella. Okay, and then you got Storm. Let's see, Storm. Spirit / Swift Wind. And Bo's horse. I think it's named Arrow. Bow and Arrow, that makes sense. And then you got this big swan. Enchanta, She-Ra's elegant winged swan. It looks like it holds at least 2 figures. That's pretty cool. All right, and then I think there's one more. Yeah, one more page for She-Ra. And you got a cosplay set. And there it is in the box. You got the talking toothbrush, the talking alarm clock, the radio, the digital watch. They got all their staples. Oh, and you got a She-Ra microphone. All little girls loved having a microphone back then. And this is a sing-along thing. I'm not sure how that works. I have to read about it. And there's a She-Ra camera, like that He-Man camera we just saw. And yeah, that is an AM/FM radio. I thought so. You got nightgowns and pajamas, and you got a She-Ra tricycle. It's got She-Ra's big old face right there. Kind of cheesy. All right, and one more catalog, and we are done with He-Man. Look at that. And as you know, they just did a, Mattel Creations just did a Origins Eternia playset. They sold for about $500 a piece, I think. And I think everything on this page almost is new except for the Horde, Castle Grayskull. There's a few things that was there before, but let's look at this real quick. We got Eternia. It was $89.99. And then you got the Blaster Hawk. I'm not even familiar with all the names of this stuff in the later line, but the Blaster Hawk. You got Battle Cat. You got Monstroid. I did know his name. And Laserbolt. I knew that one. This one's called Mantisaur. It was only $7.99. I think those go for a lot now. I think all these do, actually. And then up here you got the Fright Fighter. And you got the Slime Pit. I had that. I love that thing. My figures got more slime on them than any figure ever should. And you got the Frat Zone. And let's look at the figures over here. We got, okay, you got the Thunder Punch, He-Man, Dragon Blaster, Skeletor. We saw those. And you got Flying Fist, He-Man, and Terror Claws, Skeletor. So those are new. And then you got the Buzzsaw, Hordak. Is that Buzzsaw, Hordak? Let's see, where is it? M5. Hurricane Hordak. Okay. Hurricane Hordak. I didn't even know about Hurricane Hordak. Huh. Okay, then we got Modulac and Multibot, which was kind of like Modulac, but he was like more a robot alien combo or something. Then we got the Rise of the Snake Man, which are coming to the Origins line here soon. You got the 4 from before, Leech, Hordak, Mantana, and Grizzlor. And then you got Extendar, King Hiss, Rio Blast, Ratlor, Dragstore, Tongue Lasher, and one of these is Rock-On and one's Stondar, and I don't know the difference. So let's see if we can figure them out. Let's see, 3 is Stondar, so that's Stondar and that's Rock-On. And then the elephant's name is Snout Spout. You do have the She-Ra and He-Man watches, and then you got that cool Masters of the, or Castle Grayskull alarm clock. Looks like the eyes light up red when it goes off. That's cool. I guess the trapdoor opens. Well, surely it don't just open when the clock goes off. You can't see the time otherwise. I gotta read about it. When the alarm clock goes off, the door opens to reveal Dial. The Skeletor and He-Man pop out. So it looks like this unless the alarm clock goes off, and then I guess you can see the time. Otherwise, you don't get to see the clock. Maybe it has two modes. Maybe it's when you set the alarm, it closes up or something. That seems kind of weird. Okay, let's go to the next page, 465. We have a Masters of the Universe toy box that we've already seen before. And then page 3, we have a He-Man sweatshirt. I saw it was on that page. And I got it scattered all throughout in this catalog. There's just He-Man stuff scattered here and there all throughout. We got some He-Man raincoats and track suits and sweatshirts. Okay, and that just has that. I think it's a different design actually. Masters of the Universe sleeping bag. I think the other one was more blue, so they have a different design that year. About 3 more pages here. Oh, here it is. It's a Masters of the Universe game. Snake Mountain Rescue game. Leave it in the comments if you ever played that. I like playing old board games, so. And this is really cool, I thought. It's a blow-up inflatable, I guess. Battle Cat Bounce On, they call it. You can bounce up and down on it. It's got an inflatable shield and sword. I bet those did not last very long. They probably all popped pretty quick. They're probably worth some money if you have one. It'd have to be in the box, unused, and it's probably still dry rotted and won't hold air. So. And last page, She-Ra again. We got the Crystal Palace, Crystal Castle. And then you got this, which is the Crystal Falls. And then up here you got these look like crystal type horses. See, K is Crystal Swiftwind. And this one is Crystal Sundancer. And this one is Crystal Moonbeam. Moonbeam. And riding on Moonbeam, we have Flutterina up here. And on Sundancer, we have Sweet Bee, where she's kin to Buzz Off. And then we have the seahorse looking thing. That is Perfuma riding on it. And it's called Sea Harp, the horse. And then this is Scratch and Sound Catra. So it's a different version of Catra also. And let's see, H. Entrapta. We got a different one up here too. So a lot of new stuff in the She-Ra that year also. The Princess of Power line. So I wonder if that stuff fizzled out about the same time as the Eternia playset and all that, and if they're more rare and expensive nowadays. I don't know much about Princess of Power. I just know it's related to Masters of the Universe. But thank you for tuning in. Thanks for commenting if you did. Please like and subscribe and let your friends know. And tune into the other videos I'm working on. I'll do one of these for Star Wars and G.I. Joe and Real Ghostbusters. And there's some stuff that didn't have as big of a toy line as those, but you know, maybe do some little short ones about Gremlins or Buck Rogers or Smurfs, whatever. So a lot of good stuff in these. I could make content based off these catalogs for years to come, probably, if you got into the clothes and the crazy technology that how much it's changed, the old VCRs and computers and games and all that. But I'm just starting out with the figure lines first, and we'll see how that goes and go from there. But thanks for watching, and check out some other videos. I'm working on doing some reviews of some figures I've opened, and like I said, I'm about to open a Montana from the Origins line. I just did one on CamoCon. You can check it out if you're into the Masters of the Universe Origins. I got the Sunman 3-pack. I hadn't opened it yet, so I'll be doing that. And along with other stuff, if you're into things other than G.I. Joe, I do a lot of different toy franchises. So thanks for checking it out, and please like and subscribe.